In Sylvania, the dead rise again. The vampire counts march forth.
Hello and welcome to another Total War Warhammer guide. Today we're looking at Heinrich Kemmler, who is the legendary hero of the Vampire Count army. He's looking spiffing in his new hat. So he is a necromancer as such, just a sort of higher end, more powerful necromancer. He has a lot of the same spells, which we'll quickly go through. And then we'll just see him in battle and see sort of how you would like to sort of use him. So he's got missile resistance, being a single character. He causes fear himself because he's a scary dude. He's got a big boost to leadership because he's got that encourage because he's a leader. He can hide in a forest. He's undead, meaning that he won't run away. He won't get scared. He won't, because you're losing in battle. What happens instead is that he will start to crumble. Meaning that instead of actually just running away, he will lose hit points faster if he's losing combat. And this is the same with all undead units. It's a wholly different way of playing with undead. That's what makes them, I think, a fun race to use, is the Vampire Counts, is because of that. So first spell he's got is the Master of the Dead, which is an augment spell. It's a constant around him. So him and any units within 30 meters. It replenishes the hit points of combatants, so that's really hard. This is he's got various spells and everything and passives that stop that crumbling effect that the Vampire Counts have. So that's really nice, and that's on all the time. Next, he's got the Curse of the Undeath, which is another passive around himself, and it greatly replenishes the hit points of combatants. It resurrects dead combatants and heals injured before it. The way it does it is it heals the injured and then resurrecting new ones. It's very, very good. A constant. It's just the mainstay of the Undead Empire. This is why I'd always run with some sort of wizard or necromancer if you can, because it just keeps them in the fight so much longer. Where are we? So next we've got Disintegrating, which is the advanced version of Crumbling, and that just it's not nice. It's not nice. You just see your units crumble. He's going to lose his hit points a lot faster. Next up, we've got the first sort of debuff, which is the Curse of Years. It lasts for 22 seconds, so it's a really good spell, and it's instant, and it's got 200 meter range. Very, very good. Affects the ground, and it's got a 30 meter effect radius, and it basically debuffs their melee attack, speed, and their ability recharge. So if a hero gets caught up on it, that's going to help as well. But the big thing for me, anyway, is speed. It stops the enemy manoeuvring for battle, those knights and stuff like that. You can slow them down if you want to chase them down, or just keep them out of the battle a little bit longer. Next up, we've got Gaze of Nagesh, which is a magic missile, and this is your hero killer. This is very good used against a single combatant or like really small units of elite infantry or monstrous stuff like trolls and everything like that, but mainly against those individual characters. It's better at close range, but it does have a 250 meter range, and it does a decent amount of magic damage. Next up, we've got the Invocation of Mehek, which is a cast on an ally, 200 meters. Like many of these spells, you can't cast if your leadership is broken because you're too busy running away. In this case, you're too busy crumbling. But this also resurrects dead combatants, and it replenishes the HP of combatants, so it keeps your units in the fight longer. That's the big thing with the undead. Keep them in the fight. Next up, talking about keeping them in the fight, we've got Raise Dead, which is a lovely spell. It's really, really useful utility spell. So it's an augment spell that lasts for 19 seconds. It's very, very short range. And you can't do it if your army is a full stack. You have to wait for somebody to die before you can replenish. And it sports a totally brand new unit of zombies. I'll show you those shortly. It's useful. It says here, good at defending the spellcaster. Yeah, if your spellcaster gets bum rushed, you can go, what? Zombies, hello. Or you can use those zombies for, if you've got exposed flank that you need to fill, or you just need an extra charge unit for a short time. Bring in that unit of zombies. It's a superb spell. Next up, we've got Van Halden's Danse Macabre, which is a augment spell cast on an ally and basically just boosts their speed and melee attack. This is really good for cavalry units when you're trying to chase down stuff, especially other cavalry. Next up, we've got the Wind of Death, which is a vortex spell, and casts on the ground, but then moves randomly once it's there for 8 seconds, and it does good amount of magical damage. But also, what I found most useful out of these spells is not so much the damage, which, although lovely, is good, but it just disrupts the combat line of the enemy. So as soon as they're charging forward, you know, in that big long line, if you can disrupt like the left-hand side with one of these Winds of Death, that really helps, because it can sort of sway the balance in your favour. Next up, we've got the Undeath Resurgent, which is an augment spell, and it's a cast on itself, and it affects all allies within 40 metres, melee defence, melee attack, and plus leadership, so less crumbling, which is, you know, everybody loves a bit less crumbling. So we're going to just sort of see him in combat and talk about how we'd use Heinrich. So much like the necromancers themselves, they're very, very similar in use. He's just basically a buffed version. He's not a combat character. He is definitely more of a support character. He's less artillery-like than, say, a fire wizard or something like that. He's only got a, you know, the vortex spell is really his main sort of damage dealer to units. But the big thing about me, and this is how I'd use him, is I'd have him right behind your main blocks of infantry as they're fighting. Because all those augment spells that can help replenish hit points, heal over time, all that sort of stuff, raise the dead, all that sort of stuff is useful when you're right in the thick of the battle. And obviously the boost to leadership that he's got and all that sort of stuff is just perfect for that. So we're going to go and cast a cheeky vortex, I think. Cast a cheeky vortex. We'll put it right there. Once he gets there, he's just having a bit of a wander. So this is your main spell against units. Obviously you have to cast it on the ground, and they do get a warning. This is just to see it, and it, like I said, moves randomly once it's cast. So waiting for it to appear. These poor little spearmen have no idea. There we go. Yeah. It's not bad, is it? We've just pretty much killed half a unit of spearmen at arms and a third of the unit on the second one. That is not bad at all. So next up, we're going to move in. Let them think, oh, he's out in the open, let's go kill him. And then we're going to raise some zombies. So they should decide if they've got any brains. Yeah. So here's our unit of zombies. Surprise, motherfudger! There you go. We have a unit of 120 zombies. And these are great at just sort of clogging the enemy. This is what a lot of these cheap undead units do. They're very cheap. They're just simple, effective units to clog up that enemy while you're doing other stuff, especially if you're trying to protect your mage. We're going to cast our direct damage against their heroes. We killed a few zombies, but you know, casualties of war. They're zombies. It's not like they feel or anything. I think we wiped out more zombies than we did anybody else. It's kind of like, it works like a breath weapon, so it's quite dangerous. And then we'll just, for funsies, one-on-one with their hero. Yeah, we're probably going to lose that fight. So as you can see, the zombies, they're losing combat heavily, as you'd expect. But the thing with that crumbling nature is, although that you take more damage if you're losing because you're crumbling away, it means you stay in the combat forever until there's no guys left. So you can clog up enemy units forever. Heinrich's just doshed in one, but he's going to lose this fight. He's not, like I said, he's not a fighty character. But he's getting his ass kicked a little bit there. Can we cast one last spell? No, not really. We could do speed. We ain't got enough power. We need more power, Captain! Right. Before he dies, he's going to die. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. This is a little mini guide to Heinrich Kemmler. Really good fun to use the necromancers. They've got a variety of uses. Like I said, less artillery and damage focused than, say, a fire wizard. But just superb at helping your troops stay in battle, stopping that crumbling, healing your units, and also just creating new ones, because that's a fun thing to do as well. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Please like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.